As an encouragement to join in with the Call to Prayer 216, I want to share a story from last year's Super Bowl that was here in Arizona. And the way things went was that in January of 2015, around Martin Luther King Day, I just sensed a burden about there being a need for more freedom and to mobilize more people to be involved in our society and in the kingdom of God. And then I started to read about the awakenings from America's history about that time and just getting encouraged about the need. There's a lot of faith here, but it's not awakened. It's dormant, or it's, it's just, it's complicated. So then on Wednesday, January 21st last year, I met with a couple young people who are involved with prayer and worship in Tucson, and we were deciding on another day to have a prayer and worship time. And while we were doing that, someone put out the day, well, I'm free Sunday night, February 1st. And then someone else said, well, but that's when the Super Bowl is. But we talked about it, and eventually it was Kendra. She said, let's do it then. And so we agreed, okay, we're going to have this prayer and worship time the same time as the Super Bowl here in Tucson. And then after that, some things happened. The weather forecast at that time for the following week, including Super Bowl weekend, was warm and sunny. Now, we noticed a couple days after our meeting that I checked the weather, and the weather forecast started to change, that there was a chance of rain the following Thursday or Friday. That was interesting. And then that weekend, the 23rd, 24th, here in Tucson, was the Start the Year Off Right conference that Bridge Builders puts on, and it was in Tucson last year. And again, the topic came up of awakening, how we need awakening in Arizona and in our country, and just to join in with what God's doing around the world, really. Well, things happened. On Thursday, January 29th, it started to rain in Arizona. And it rained a bunch. In the next 2 days, they recorded one of the highest rainfall totals for 2 days in Arizona's history. And then this is just a couple of days before the Super Bowl, which was Sunday, February 1st. I got up Sunday, February 1st at dawn, and I noticed the fog. And so I shot up to the edge of the city by Finger Rock Canyon, and I was looking at the city covered in fog. Check out some of these pictures. And it was also happening up in Phoenix around the Super Bowl. As you can imagine, I was amazed. And I'm a nature guy, so this was amazing. The city of Tucson was covered in fog when there was 10 days before, there was no rain in the forecast, and now the city's covered in fog, and it's Super Bowl Sunday, and the Super Bowl is in Arizona, and we're praying for awakening. Okay, well, things keep going. That day we had our prayer meeting, and we had a bonfire outside and some worship around during the Super Bowl. Just minding our own business, nothing special, but who knows what God's doing. I hear later that the Super Bowl halftime show artist, Katy Perry, that 10 minutes before she went on stage, she just was praying to God for help to do her show, and that she tweeted a psalm from the Bible to all her followers on Twitter, over 10 million. And it caused quite a stir. What are you doing? What's this Bible verse doing? And she comes from a pastor's family, so there's a sign of awakening just in her life, a young person. And then also we heard later that the New England Patriot cornerback, Malcolm Butler, who made the great interception at the end of the Super Bowl game, had a dream a few days before the Super Bowl that he would make a great play, and he's a believer in Jesus Christ. And he made the play of the century kind of thing. So all these things are just encouraging for us to consider that if we'll hear God and decide to pray and worship whenever He leads, that amazing things can happen. And this is especially encouraging for us here in Arizona. So that's just a story from last year to encourage us to pursue this call to prayer right now in February 2016. Thank you.